Hey, home group leaders, how are you doing today? Week 6 has arrived. Wanted to just run a few things by you so that you'll be prepared for this week's home group. First of all, Mark has put up a link to a PDF that you can download. You can print it off if you want or just read it from your computer, called the Parable of the Life-Saving Station. If you're familiar at all with Lamont Wesleyan Church, if you've been around for a while, you have heard this parable. It's one that I refer to often. One of the questions on the guide, the study guide for this week, involves someone from your home group reading that parable and then people responding to it. So make sure before home group that you have that. One other thing that I wanted to note is we just sort of jump right in today to the things I have to share, is there's going to be a slight difference between the two sermons this week. If you are a part of the Lamont congregation, I'm going to spend some time talking about how difficult it is to send people, and literally the word that Jesus uses is to cast out. Pray that the Lord of the harvest will cast out workers into the harvest field. I want to talk about how challenging that is. But in Burlington, I'm going to have people stand, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the room and have people stand who were a part of the team that started the Burlington New Strawn location. And I'm going to ask the congregation, what would you think if I told you that I believed God was calling us to send everyone standing to another place to start a different congregation, a different church, and then say to them, here's what you need to know. Someone did that for you. And that's built into who we are. And I'm going to go further. And I just want, if you're before the sermon, if you're watching this or you've already heard the sermon, you know this. I'm going to just say, if in 5-10 years, if the folks in Burlington New Strawn have not started something new somewhere else, then I'm not going to consider it to be a complete success, because an outwardly focused church is going to see the needs around them and reach out to surrounding communities. And this sort of built into our DNA. So anyway, that's one of the things that I would just want to make you aware of, that the two sermons are going to be a little bit different, especially for some of you home group leaders that have participants that are in different, that attend different locations. I know, like, one of you meets in Burlington, but you personally attend over in Lamont, all that kind of stuff. Just want to make you aware of that. The third thing that I really want to say in prep for this week is that I do not want our home groups to be times when there's a lot of guilt and shoulds. And if ever I've put shoulds in sort of a guilt component into a study guide and into a sermon, it's probably this one. This one would be the one that would be the easiest to get off the tracks in terms of pastors saying should. And part of that is Jesus saying, pray that the Lord of the harvest will cast out workers into the harvest field. And so, just as a home group leader, make sure that the tone of your home group does not go negative, does not go guilt, does not go, well, I need to, because of guilt and shame and because I ought to, I need to go out and reach to others. Instead, try to focus, if you can, guide the questions and the answers to the questions towards the fact that it is seeing needs around us and then being moved by those needs that really is the motivation to reach out. That I have to be externally focused so that my heart will connect with the needs of those around me. and that this is about us loving our community, not about us feeling guilty and doing religious things to please God, but instead falling in love with our communities and wanting to reach them. So if you could make sure that if you begin to see it go that way, if you begin to see some shoulds come out and people say, well, I just don't reach out enough, and sort of from a guilty standpoint, I need to do this to be a better Christian. If you could just come back with your comments about the necessity of this being a heart thing, that it's my heart and my love for my community that changes everything. So that being said, I just hope you have a great week. I am looking forward. We have 3 more weeks left, and so that's counting this week. So really, maybe by the time you're watching this, we only have 2 weeks left. But this has been a great experience, and I want to thank you again for leading in our home groups.